Yes, guys, welcome to another Jamie Wrestling World weekly show. Hopefully, oh my god, turn the lights off. Hopefully, this one will go better than last week's, which stopped working. But yeah, big up the chat, big up everyone in the house. Hope you're all doing good. Hope everyone's doing well on this lovely Sunday. Appreciate you all being here as well. Don't forget to hit the likes and share and subscribe when you come in. Obviously, this channel is a brand new channel, so it's small at the moment. We're trying to grow it, so more likes and shares and stuff like that, the better we'll be, guys. So yeah, make sure you're liking and subscribing and sharing it all over your social platforms if you don't mind. But yeah, welcome into another one, guys. Welcome into another good week of wrestling, especially on the WWE side of things. AEW is just boring at the moment. Let me quickly get on about the AEW stuff really quickly because, you know, some people think I'm an AEW hater and all that. I'm not, right? I like all wrestling. But at the moment, I just feel like AEW is just boring. I don't know about you guys, but AEW just feels like they just put matches on for the sake of putting matches on without no story or progression or thought about where they're going with things next. It's just like we got to put a killer match on, we got to put a 5-star match on, and it doesn't need any other explaining. That's all we got to do. And I think I think a lot of people, a lot of AEW fans like that. But you know, once you see, I like it as well. I'm not saying I hate quality wrestling matches, but every week it's the same week. Nothing's changing. And here's the thing I will say about AEW. Look, I'm going to All In, my best mate, yeah. He's going to All In as well, and I'm going with him. And he's a big AEW fan right now. He's a WWE fan, but, you know, he's grown to really love AEW, right? Because he likes the violence and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to All In with him. But the one thing I wanted to see at All In was MJF versus Ospreay. That's the match I wanted to see. It's the only match and build that made any sense for that show. And they decided to not do it because Tony Khan is obsessed of having this Kenny Omega versus Ospreay match because he knows Dave Meltzer will give it 7 stars. And that's the reason we're having this match at the biggest show of AEW's calendar year. It makes no sense. The build up to this main event is bad. The promos are terrible. The fans don't know who to cheer for, so the fans are dead. You got 2 baby faces with no beef whatsoever, so there's no story. Absolutely zero story between Ospreay and I will say it's the same. It's very similar to Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. The reason that match didn't get the love it deserved, although it was a good wrestling match, well, like out of this world, but it was a good wrestling match. But the fans didn't care because there was no story. No one was invested of seeing good guy Punk versus good guy Cody. No one gives a shit. No one cares. There's nothing to invest yourself in. There's nothing to get your teeth into. You don't pick a side. You're just sitting there like that, just watching a good wrestling match. That's what you're doing as a fan. So you're not making any noise. You're not interested in it. You're just sitting there watching a good wrestling match. And that's what's happening with Kenny Omega and Ospreay right now. You know, we're just going to see a really good wrestling match. Dave Meltzer's going to give it 7 stars. And the AEW sickos will be happy. Tony Khan will be outstanding. He'll say, put the best match on all year. No wrestling match will top this wrestling match for the year. And that's probably true. It won't. Maybe no match will top Ospreay versus Omega. Right? But the fact of the matter is, it could have been better, and it should have been better because it should have been MJF, who for me, with Gunther, are the best heels in wrestling right now, going up against the ultimate babyface in Ospreay in England. You did it sold itself. It's the ultimate story. The ultimate bad guy versus the ultimate good guy in the ultimate good guy's own country, trying to win the world title for the very first time. Story's made. Bang, bong. Put it on the billboards. That's it. Done. Let's build up to it now because everyone's invested. And then they put Kenny Omega in there because Tony Khan needs to have the graps. It's all about the graps. And now that main event is shit. And no one cares. No one cares about that main event. And now they're just putting matches up for the sake of putting matches up in AEW. Like, I don't know where they're going. Their storytelling's terrible at the moment. The wrestling is always at the highest end of everything. I can't insult that. Look, AEW's in-ring wrestling is probably the best around. Yeah, I'm not going to be here saying otherwise. It's tremendous. But their storytelling and being invested, and you can tell by the ratings. Since MJF dropped the title, their ratings have gone that way. When MJF was champion and there was intrigue in the product, their ratings went that way. That's all you need to know. Follow the ratings. Follow what people were invested in. No one's invested in Ospreay and Omega like they would be if it was MJF versus Ospreay. That's the match everyone wanted to see. And it would have been a quality match. Probably as good as the match we're going to see, but with story and intrigue. Why did everyone love Daniel Bryan winning the world title All In at the very first Wembley Stadium? Why was everyone so invested in that? Because it's Daniel Bryan going for the title in England at Wembley Stadium, the ultimate good guy against the ultimate bad guy. You had all the fanfare and pyro and investment. Everyone was intrigued in it. No one cares about this match. No one's invested in this match. No one's interested. The only thing they're interested in is seeing a quality wrestling match, as I said you will always see in AEW. And I'll give AEW their credit for that. For putting on in-ring product, they're probably the best in the world at it. But I am very storyline driven as a wrestling fan. I would rather have a 5-star story with a 3-star match than a 5-star match with no story. Because I'm story invested. That's how I like my wrestling. Story driven. Purpose. Why am I tuning in to watch this? What is the reason I'm watching this match tonight? That's why SummerSlam was shit. That's why a lot of SummerSlam wasn't very good. Because a lot of SummerSlam had no stories going into it. That's why ticket sales were terrible. That's why no one wanted to go. You know, even when they lowered the ticket pricing, it didn't still sell out. It should have. WWE 2 years ago, sell that out. Right? In fact, if they did SummerSlam in September with the stories they're now telling, I reckon they would have sold it out at a cheaper price because people are now invested again. The SummerSlam was boring in parts because we had matches no one was invested in. The biggest match I was invested in at SummerSlam weekend was actually Nick Aldis versus Gunther, because they were telling a story for the 2 weeks before SummerSlam, and they brought me into it, and I was intrigued. And I was like, I want to watch this match. It's all about story, man. Big up, Lakers. Story is so important. Exactly. Story is just as important as the in-ring. It is. If you want two baby faces versus each other, look at Punk versus Kevin. Kevin Crowd loves it. There's real tension and a build of a story. The promos have been fire so far. Right, let's get to that as well. Hang on. Before we get that, be out here and chat. Like Vince said, I'm not in the wrestling business. I'm in the entertainment business. Good wrestling is not enough. We need storylines as well. Exactly. Look, if you go to Japan, the in-ring stuff in Japan, it's more like a sport in Japan. So like New Japan Pro Wrestling, Noah, whatever, Stardom, the way they do professional wrestling in Japan, they treat it like a real sport, right? So the matches are, you don't need all that. But in North America and what we consume, we're all built around storytelling wrestling, entertainment kind of wrestling, soap opera kind of wrestling. You need a storyline, a story that you're following for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 months. And you're interested in that story. You're invested in that story. You watch Monday Night Raw or SmackDown every week to follow what's going on next in that story. And then it ends with the match. And then eventually you get to the match, the big match. And you're so invested in it, you can't wait. You buy the pay-per-view. That's how I was brought up as a wrestling fan. And that's what intrigues me as a wrestling fan. Story is everything. Story is everything. But and also look, I need to say this as well. Beata Connery DM'd me about this as well. Right. Did anyone watch Dynamite? Jericho and all that fucked up. So Jericho had thingy in the Kevin Knight in the Walls of Jericho, right? And obviously thingy was meant to get involved and poke Jericho in the head with the scissors or whatever it was he had in his hand. Yeah. But Jericho was in the middle of the ring and he's up on the apron and he realizes if he hits him now, he's got to get in the ring and he's going to get disqualified because the ref's going to see him. And Jericho, and wrestling's meant to look real. We know wrestling's fake, guys, yeah? But the point of good professional wrestling is that it takes your mind out of it and you're like, oh, that might have been real. It's that sort of thing. You want your disbelief to be taken away. You want that thing to go and you question it and go, oh, that was a real thing. That was, you know. But when you got him in his finishing move and he then just casually walks to the rope with the man underneath him, just casually walking to the rope so Don Callis can then hit him in the head with a pair of scissors. It makes it look so fake. It makes it look so fake. And it takes you out the match. I don't care how good that match was. Because the ending made the whole match look so fake, it ruined the whole thing for me. And Dave Meltzer had the nerve to give that match 4.5 stars. He gave that match 4.5 stars with the worst bit at the end I've seen in a long time in a match where they fucked up so badly, they made the match look fake. And he gave it 4.5 stars. It's just fucking, I don't know, it's just fucking madness. It's absolute madness. And I'll tell you what, if Jericho did that in WWE, Meltzer would have been all over it. If Jericho, say, had Dominic Mysterio in the Walls of Jericho, yeah, and someone was meant to interfere doing the Don Callis thing, and they forgot their spot, and Jericho walks over, I'll tell you what, right now, if Vince was in charge, Vince wouldn't have had that. That wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. Vince would have called it. Vince would have got in touch with the referee in his earpiece and told Jericho just to let go of the move. Tell Kevin Knight to try and kick out the move, and Jericho kicks out the move. Jericho gets kicked out the move, and Jericho runs into the ropes. Say Kevin Knight flips him, yeah. Kevin Knight pushes himself up, pushes his legs. Jericho then flies into the rope. Callis then hits him into the head. He runs. He's falling back like that. Kevin Knight schoolboys him. You get the 1, 2, 3. Right? That's how it should have happened. As soon as Tony Khan saw it's going to be a botch, he should have got into the mic of the referee and gone, right, we're calling an audible. Tell Knight to kick out of Jericho, submission. Jericho goes over to the ropes. Callis hits him, rolls back. Schoolboy, 1, 2, 3, end the match. But no, he put that shit out on live TV where they made wrestling look as fake as you can fucking be. But then the sickos will say, oh, what a match. The graps. No, it looked fucking fake. It looked fucking fake. But hey, what do I know, man? Right, let's get to SmackDown this week. I want to talk about SmackDown first because, you know, obviously most of us are probably WWE fans. You know, most English wrestling fans are WWE fans, even though AEW fans will say they don't watch AEW. Do you know what makes me laugh as well about AEW fans, right? And I'm an AEW fan. I like AEW. I like wrestling, right? I'm just not a sicko, right? There's some AEW fans out there that will tell you WWE shit. They don't watch the product. They don't do anything. But all they do is talk about WWE. Which tells you, in reality, all these AEW people on Twitter that are so pro AEW, you know for straight away, they all watch the product. They all watch everything that's going on. They just pretend they don't. They're all full of shit, right? That's why AEW's ratings don't climb. You know, AEW's not climbing, they're not growing. You know, if everyone's apparently watching AEW, why are they not growing? Why are they still having dynamites in 2,000-3,000 seat arenas? Why can't they struggling to sell tickets although they're cheap? Why are they not growing in views? And don't give me all this HBO Max bullshit. You're telling me 600,000 people are watching Dynamite every week, and then what? 500,000 people are watching on Max. Don't do this to yourself, right? No one's watching on Max. Max don't even promote AEW, by the way. If you got a NordVPN or anything like that, if you got a VPN in this country, go to HBO Max and put it in America, and then go on HBO Max. There's no advertisement for AEW. So how the fuck is anyone watching it on Max? It's all bullshit. But it's Dave Meltzer again causing the tribalism in wrestling. It's that everyone wants to know why is it wrestling so tribal now, and why we ain't just enjoying it. Blame Dave Meltzer, because he's the reason why it's happening. But yeah, let's get back to SmackDown, guys. Yeah, SmackDown's been dog shit for time. It's been dog shit for a long time. I would say SmackDown has been dog shit since after WrestleMania 40. And that's a long time. It's been a bad show. It's been arguably, for me, SmackDown, till recently, has been the worst wrestling show of the week. I'd even watched Dynamite over SmackDown previously, even Collision. Even Collision's been better than SmackDown, right? SmackDown has been absolute garbage. But since SummerSlam, and maybe the week before SummerSlam, but definitely after SummerSlam, they have turned the tide massively. Now, we're not there yet. This is not the great product yet, but it's fucking changing. And it's going to change because of the people they got on their show. It's almost impossible to have a shit SmackDown now. You got Punk, you got Kevin Owens, you got Sami Zayn, you got Finn Balor, you got fucking Gunther. Yeah, you got Randy Orton, you've got Cody Rhodes. You know, just them 7 people alone. And if they're on your show every week and the stories they're having, it's almost impossible to have a shit show. Right, the caliber of stars they got. Then you got the US title picture with Carmelo Hayes and you know, it's got out of my head now. Why can I never remember everyone's name? Yeah, it drives me mad. But you know, you got the US title picture right now that's kicking off. You got 3 or 4 wrestlers there, really in a story now, intrigued. You know, Baron Corbin and you know, what's my man's name? I can't remember his name now. What's his name? Why can't I remember people's names? Who's the US champion? He's gone out of my fucking head. And I like the guy as well. Drew McIntyre, big up, Wilkie. Big up, my man in the house. How you doing? Drew won't be coming back. If Drew comes back, he won't come to SmackDown, guys. He'll probably go Monday Night Raw because SmackDown is too big at the moment. Who's just the US champion? Who did Corbin beat for it? Why can't I remember his name right now? Why has it gone out of my head? Why has it gone out of my head? For fuck's sake, I'm so bad. I can't remember anyone's name. I like Baron Corbin, by the way. I'm a big fan of Baron Corbin. Trick Williams. It just come into my head. Trick Williams. Tricky. Yeah, I like Trick Williams. Look, the one thing I'm going, I like Trick Williams. The only thing I'm going to say about Trick Williams is that Trick Williams needs to be better in the ring. Look, when I look at Trick Williams has got the charisma, he's got the personality, he's got the look, he's got everything about him you want, right, as a professional wrestler at the top end. He just hasn't got the in-ring work yet. If he can get better, if his in-ring work can get better, he's going to be a star. There's no doubt about it. But that mid-title scene on SmackDown's getting better. You got Carmelo Hayes. I like Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin's got an excellent moveset. He's one of the best movesets for, you know, like a middle of the road sort of wrestling guy. He's got a really good moveset for that sort of, you know, situation. I like Baron Corbin. You know, his entrance is a little bit better now that he's coming out on the motorbike. It suits him a little bit better. The theme music's a little bit better. His presentation looks a little bit better. I think you can see what they're trying to do with Baron Corbin, and I like it. And there's story there. Now, that's what I'm always about, man. I'm always about the story with things, you know, and then get to the match. And, You know, I'm intrigued about what they're doing in that situation there in the US title picture. You know, we'll come to the world title picture in a minute on SmackDown, but let's talk about Chelsea Green first, because yeah, big up Chelsea Green. I'm a big fan of Chelsea Green. Obviously, when we did our SummerSlam predictions, we spoke, highly of Chelsea Green. We all predicted her to win that title. Look, she's obviously the undisputed champion right now because there's no mention of interim. I will say this to WWE, just be clear, right? It takes 2 seconds to be clear. All Nick Aldis has to do is come on SmackDown and go, look, Rhea has had knee surgery. She won't be back till 2027. So Chelsea, who won the interim title at SummerSlam, is now the undisputed women's champion. Yeah. And just say it like that. That's all it takes. WWE never acknowledged it, but they call her the undisputed women's WWE champion. So, in my opinion, Chelsea Green is the women's champion on SmackDown right now. She's not interim anymore. I think they got a T-shirt where the interim scrubbed out and it says permanent. So, but WWE, listen, man, it takes 10 seconds just to do that little video and everyone in the world knows. And then we ain't got to call her interim champion. She's your world champion. She had the best promo. A woman has done on the main roster in years, in my opinion. They gave her the chance, the time to go out there, and she looked like a superstar. She looked like a megastar, and she's got the best babyface reaction. You know, apart from Rhea Ripley, who's like, Rhea Ripley's Rhea Ripley. Chelsea Green has now got that ultimate white meat babyface reaction. They love her. Chelsea Green's great. I mean, I've loved Chelsea Green for time. You know, I think Chelsea Green, she knows what she is as a professional wrestler and how she gets on television, no matter how she's been booked, and people might think she's been booked poorly before. But the thing with Chelsea Green, she's on TV every week. You know, she's always on TV. She's always in segments. She's always a big part of the show, no matter if it's Raw or SmackDown or a PLE. She's always a big part of everything that's going on in the company. But what they've done now, they've decided, you know what? Let's give this a go. Let's give this a go. Rhea's out. They've got no Rhea now till probably 2027. I doubt you see Rhea Ripley again till the Royal Rumble, right? She's got to heal up properly. They've got no mega face female champion. And it makes sense to WWE now to go, you know what? Let's run with it. Let's make a permanent champion. And I think what they did on SmackDown was perfect. I've really got no complaints. You know, they put her in there with Nick Aldis. You know, you could talk about, look, if you're being really picky, if we're being really picky, and we could do this with all wrestling companies are like this, yeah. You know, you could be really picky and go, right, Nick's telling her he's got a stripper of the title because of an injury, but Rhea Ripley had the same injury, never got stripped. Liv Morgan only defended the title once in 100 days and never got stripped. So all of a sudden there's a 30-day rule. But, you know, that's not a WWE thing. That happens everywhere. Do you know what I mean? That happens in all organisations. They always choose and when to make their rules on certain people, yeah? So I don't want to get into that too much, but you can be nicky. You can be picky there if you want to be. But I look at it and go, like, Chelsea's now, they strapped the title to her. They gave her a great promo segment. They put her there with Nick Aldis, Gunther and all that. And she held her own. She looked like a superstar. The promo was fantastic. It was the best woman's segment I've seen in a long time on WWE main television. Because I will say, the way they treat the women on NXT for me is better than the way they treat them sometimes on the main roster. And they gave her that opportunity. And she came across like a megastar. And that's what you want. You want these, there's wrestlers in this company. If you just give them the ball and give them that good booking and that freedom, they can do things. And now let Chelsea be. Look, is Chelsea the greatest worker in the world? No. She's not a bad worker, though. She's okay in the ring. She's not awful. She can go. You know what I mean? She's not she's not Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley or anyone like that. But you know, they're the top, or Io Sky or anything like that, because they're the creme of the creme in the ring for women in WWE. Like, but she can go. You know, she can go in the ring. Give her a good opponent. Just don't give her fucking Nia Jax. I think that's dead. I think they're going to give her Tiffany Stratton. I think Tiffany Stratton's going to turn heel and eventually turn on Chelsea Green, and that's going to be your title match at Money in the Bank in October. They're going to do Charlotte. They're going to do Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton and Money in the Bank. Tiffany Stratton needs to turn heel. You know, we know she got that friendship with Charlotte. I keep saying Charlotte with Chelsea Green, which you've seen on TV in recent weeks. Obviously, she lost her US title match, which we'll get to in a minute with JC Jane, who, by the way, is another superstar in the making. But yeah, that should be her world title. That's where I see the world title going for Chelsea Green right now. Give her the ball. Give her the ball and let her run. She's good on the mic. She looks fantastic. She's got bundles of charisma. She can go in the ring. Let her go, man. Let her flow. The fans fucking love her. Turn Tiffany Stratton heel. Tiffany Stratton works better as a heel. You know, that sort of Barbie heel, sort of like, you know that high school bitchy. You know, that's what she's best at. Yeah, let her be that. And then you've got a good dynamic there, and then you've got story. Again, it's all about story. Good heel versus good babyface. It makes money. Hope they let that run. Hope that let that run. Big up the chat as well. Let's get some comments there, man. Go and subscribe to Weekly Steel Chair if you've not done that already, man. He's my man's great over there. Go and give him some love. Go and give him some love. Big up my man Connor. Surely Blake Monroe would fit better on the show. That's on Netflix. Yeah, Blake's gotta be. We'll get the Blake in a minute, man. She could go in front of the mic as well. Yeah, she cooked the whole show, man. I think because look, I don't know why Netflix does it. I don't know if WWE tell Netflix to do it, but I doubt they do because they don't edit things on SmackDown. I'd keep Blake on SmackDown. I think that's the better show for her right now. The thing with this is the one thing I'll say about Netflix. If you don't watch WWE live on the time on Netflix, you might actually miss quite a lot in the rerun because I don't know why Netflix cut it out. I don't know if it's WWE telling Netflix to do it. Obviously, they don't edit things out on their YouTube channel. Like I watched Cody Rhodes. You know when John Cena turned heel at Elimination Chamber 2 years ago, yeah? On WWE's YouTube channel, they don't cut it out. They have it, Cody Rhodes still telling The Rock to go fuck himself without cutting it out and without bleeping over it. So I think it's a Netflix thing. So I'd keep Blake Monroe on SmackDown like Reese says. Big up Reese, man. Much love. Yeah, man. Big up Coppish. It's Cal. Oh, you're good. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, Cal. Big up my man Cal there. Go for beating the piss out of Zack Ryder. Kill me, I can't lie. Yeah, look, you don't expect Zack Ryder out of nowhere. Well, Zack Ryder, you know, to come and kill Gunther straight away. Appreciate it, Callum. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, go and subscribe to Reese's Wrestling channel. Look, Reese is more, you know, I think like Reese is more. I think it's fair to say, Reese, you can tell me in the chat. I think Reese is a bit more pro AEW than I am, which is absolutely fine, guys. But as I said, me and Reese are very similar. We like our wrestling. Everyone's got a bit of a more of a favorite. Reese's favorite promotion ever is TNA, which you know that's back old school TNA as well. That's his thing. But yeah, if you want a bit more pro AEW, I'm going to talk about AEW, but you know, WWE is more my thing. I'm more of a WWE mark. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to people. But I think Reese is a bit more pro AEW in that way and the New Japan stuff. So if you like all that, please go and subscribe to Reese at the Weekly Steel Chair if you've not done so. Julianne Blake, like next week is go. That should be a killer match, man. Netflix just do it in general. It's really stupid. Can't let adults be adults on live TV. Yeah, I think Netflix do it for other shows. You know, a lot of other shows, I think they do it on. It's just not the wrestling as well, is it? I'm very distinctive to promotions. I watch far more. Yeah, you got. That's what I'm saying. You have more balance than I do. I don't like the Booker at WWE. I hear it. I will say, do you know what I will say about Triple H? I don't know if anyone's noticed this since Triple H has been the Booker. So the one thing I will say about Triple H's booking, yeah. Oh yeah, TNA's all over the place, Reese. It's all over the place. The one thing I would say about Triple H, yeah, when I watched Triple H book NXT Black and Gold, without interference from people like Vince McMahon and stuff like that, and him and Regal, and I can't remember what his name is. He was it was Albert, weren't he? In on the main roster, I can't remember what his actual name is. He's one of the people down there as well. When them three guys were the bookers and the creators of NXT Black and Gold, they put on killer shows, some of the best shows. That, you know, NXT pay-per-views were better than main roster pay-per-views when Triple H was in charge of NXT without any interference. That's why a lot of people were wanting Triple H to take over Vince when Vince left as the head booker. The one thing I will say about Triple H, and it's not me sticking up for him at all, so I think he should be doing better than what he is. I will say, though, how much say does he have on things, everything? Because obviously he's not the boss. When Vince was the booker, Vince is the boss. No one tells Vince McMahon what to do. He's the head guy, right? Apart from the New York Stock Exchange, no one's telling Vince what to do. It's like Tony Khan in AEW. No one's telling Tony what to do. Tony's doing his own thing. It's his company. Vince's company. With WWE right now, it's not Triple H is his company, is it? He's an employee, but he's the booker. I do believe, I think Netflix and ESPN have a lot of say on how sometimes WWE's product is booked and what they want, and TKO. And I'll get to that in a minute, because I don't believe Triple H wanted to book Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton the way it was booked at WrestleMania. I think that was interference from TKO. And according to the Observer, that was the case. And I'm not saying, look, Triple H he's not the best booker in the world. I'm not saying, I just think he has a lot more that he has to get yeses from and say-sos from them sort of people than a Vince would back in the day, or a Tony Khan does because of his promotion, if that makes sense. You know, Nick Khan's got to do it. It's like I don't think he could book a certain match a certain way on Netflix without telling Netflix how they go do it. And then it's like, if that makes sense, or ESPN or something like that. I think they got to be careful in some aspects. Obviously, commercial revenue in WWE is very high. We see it with the advertisement right now, you know, and all the commercials in WWE right now. They got to be commercial friendly product at the same time. So Triple H might want to book a certain way, but you have to book a way around what's commercial friendly, if that makes sense. Which I'm not giving him an out on that, because I've always said it. Wrestling can be as good PG as any wrestling show that's TV 14. It's all about the booking and creative. Not everyone has to bleed and, you know, all this sort of stuff and swear and that. You can have a world-class product being a PG wrestling show, as you can have being a TV 14 wrestling show. By every stretch of the imagination, I look at it like movies, yeah? Star Wars films, the 3 original trilogies are all PGs, yeah? Empire Strikes Back is a PG, right? Not only is that the greatest Star Wars film ever made, it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest film ever made. And it's a PG, right? In wrestling, if you're doing the booking right and you're doing the creative right, your product, being a PG, family-friendly, commercial-friendly product, can still be better than any other product out there, even TV 14. Do you know what I mean? You can do that. You can do that every day of the week, man. You can do that every day of the week. I just feel like they think too much about the commercial revenue, too much, and it takes them away from what they're booking. And that's what irritates me about WWE sometimes. I think they just look at the commercials they got to, the revenue they make from commercial, they got to be commercial friendly, right? They have to be. I understand it. It's their business, yeah? They're making billions. Who the fuck's going to tell them they're wrong? They're making billions as a company. So they got to be commercial friendly, so they have to book like that. But sometimes I think they let their booking, and I will say this as a WWE fan, I think they let their booking have an excuse for their booking because they're trying to book commercial friendly material. And I think they use that as an excuse too much, and that pisses me off. But I will say one thing about I will say one thing about Triple H, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I swear Triple H books better after SummerSlam towards Royal Rumble than he does any other time of the year. As soon as SummerSlam's finished, up towards Survivor Series Royal Rumble time, his booking is far better than it is from Royal Rumble till, WrestleMania. I always think his booking there is questionable, but I always think he books better products, usually after SummerSlam. I don't know why that is. Don't know. Maybe, no idea. But I think he did it last year. The booking's already better this year after SummerSlam than it was before SummerSlam. It might help that you're getting a lot more wrestlers fit and healthy now, and you're making new stars. But yeah, hopefully they're turning the corner. All we want to see is good wrestling. We all want to see a good wrestling TV. Yeah, as I said, not every match needs to be 5 stars all the time, but we want story, we want investment, we want something to believe in. We want the wrestlers to be able to have a bit of freedom in their matches, give them the ball, let them, just book and be creative. Be creative. Let your juices flow. Do you know what I mean? That's something you need to do. And, I think they're held back too much sometimes in WWE, where you can give them the ball. Like they've done with Chelsea Green now. They've gave Chelsea Green the ball. And because they've gave Chelsea Green the ball now, I hope they keep it there and let her run with it. Turn Tiffany Stratton Hill. Oh, great. That's good television. We want to see that. So I hope that's the case. But yeah, SmackDown was good, man. I'm not saying it was like a 5-star show or anything, but it was a good TV show. It was good television this week on SmackDown. For 2 hours, I thoroughly enjoyed the 2 hours of SmackDown that I saw this Friday. They built some stories. They built intrigue. It makes you want to watch next week. And we'll get to Kevin Owens and CM Punk right now. So, look, CM Punk, Kevin Owens, obviously wrestling for the world title next week in Toronto, in Canada. They had an excellent promo here, building to that match. Look, both of them are baby faces, yeah? But I actually believe these two fucking hate each other. Now, I don't know if they really hate each other in real life. There might be a bit of resentment there, a bit of like, but I believe deep down that these two fucking hate each other. And that's called good booking, good creative, and having two wrestlers who know what they're fucking doing and just don't get involved and let them do their shit. I think too much, sometimes the company get too involved in stuff and try and produce things down to the nearest atom. Just let them be, man. And with this feud so far, they're just letting them be. See, obviously, they brought up that story from 20 years ago in Ring of Honor about, if anyone knows that story, I believe it's about Kevin Owens wearing the T-shirt or not wearing the T-shirt because he's a little bit out of shape. I think CM Punk spoke about CM Punk about it and Jim Cornette and all that. And yeah, and that's basically what they were talking about 20 years ago. And that happened in Ring of Honor. Obviously, they couldn't name drop Ring of Honor because AEW owned Ring of Honor, so they can't name drop it. But yeah, that's basically what that's the way that story went back then, which, I don't mind them bringing them up. I know it's a 20-year-old story, but let's face it, not a lot of people know about that story. And, it brings intrigue into the story because it makes you believe that these two hate each other even more, and I thought it was a really good promo. I think it built to a match that you want to see, right? It's built to a match you want to see. It's happening on a SmackDown next week. Now SmackDown is must watch next week. And that's the whole great thing about building proper story. It makes you want to watch next week. Like I'm going to watch SmackDown next week. 1 a.m. for us Brits. Yeah, it is. But I'm going to watch SmackDown live next week because I want to watch the Kevin Owens CM Punk title fight match because they've built intrigue. Usually on SmackDown, I watch the highlights. The last 2 weeks is the first time I've watched SmackDown through night for the whole thing without moving. Usually I'm just watching the 10 minutes highlights that they put up on YouTube, and like that do. I didn't miss anything. You know, you have to watch now. They're building intrigue, they're building story. And that's what I care about. I've always said this. Story, for me, growing up as a wrestling fan with the wrestling I watched, is the most important thing. As important as the wrestling match actually is. To me, anyway. I think you need it. And I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, we'll put that to the side at the moment because there's more story to this title match. Because obviously the main event was meant to be Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes. If Sami won, he would get the winner of Kevin Owens versus CM Punk for the WWE title. I like what they did here. I know some people are pissed off that they didn't actually see the match because Randy Orton came out before the match started and beat up Cody Rhodes and carry on their story. But I liked it because it made sense. Because now Sami's been done again. And this is the story of Sami Zayn. The company don't want him as champion. And he's fighting the company. And every time he's got a chance to become champion, someone else fucks it up for him. So I actually like this as a story. I was a bit miffed that I didn't get to see the match because I think that would have been a good match. But for the story purposes, it all made sense. Sami's fucked off again. They pissed him off again. People are stopping him getting his title shot that he deserves. And then you got the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes story, which is blending nicely. Now, did they copy a little bit of the stuff they did before WrestleMania? Yeah, in this segment. But what they're doing with Cody and Randy this time around is already better than the story we got between Cody and Rhodey before WrestleMania, because you haven't got Pat McAfee fucking involved for no reason. TKO is staying out of it. Just let them be. Let them cook. Guys, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton don't need anyone telling you how their story should be. It's Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. They've been good friends since 2007 or whatever it is. You know, Cody was on the road with Randy for years. They've got so much story that you don't need anything. It's so easy to book. Just let them go and do their thing. They will tell you the story every week. And it's easy to book. Just let them cook. And you're going to get a good match out of it. So Randy Orton and Cody. So I like this, what happened in this main event. And it also brings intrigue in what's going to happen next week. Because part of me feels like they should put the title on Kevin Owens. Because after Kevin saying what he said, losing here clean to CM Punk will make Kevin Owens look a bit dim, a bit stupid, a bit of a geek. So part of me is like, he has to beat Punk for the title. But then I can't see him taking the title off Punk unless they do a quick switch around, which I don't mind. I'm not a big fan of everyone having like the title for a couple of weeks and you keep changing it. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it diminishes your title. But here it could make sense. Cody, you know, he beats Punk for the title, holds it for 2 weeks, loses it at Worlds Collide, because we all know Worlds Collide is at the All-State Arena in Chicago, because AEW All Out is in Chicago that same day as well, and WWE want all the ticket sales for theirs. I get it. It's business. It's what they do. Am I a fan of all this? No. But if I was a businessman, I understand what they're doing, you know. That's what I would do. I would book it that way. I'd have Kevin Owens in Toronto, in Canada. It's not his look. It's his home country. It's not his home city. It's Quebec, but it's in Canada. He's going to be over as Rover. He's come back from this 17-month hiatus of this neck injury. He looks like a mega star right now. I'd put the title on him and just carry it till, even if it's a short title reign, till Worlds Collide in the All-State Arena on the 24th of September. He loses it back to Punk because of some kind of fucking, I don't know, interference by Sami Zayn or something crazy like that. And you can build more story and you can carry on with that story going forward towards, you know, towards Survivor Series and Royal Rumble and stuff like that. But even if he's only holding it till then, it makes sense to do that. A little title reign. You know, he's beaten Punk. He's got the title back. Punk wants his rematch. He wants to do it at the All-State Arena at Worlds Collide in Chicago, his city, because he lost the title in Canada. in Kevin Owens' hometown, in his country, where he's a folk hero. Kevin Owens is going to be the cheered one. He's going to be the folk hero. The whole crowd wants Kevin Owens to win the title. He wins it. Now Punk wants his title back in his city. Story makes sense. Do it. Do it. You know what I mean? That is story and makes sense, right? You can buy it. You can understand it. You can be like, I get that. I do get it. That makes sense. I'm intrigued by that. But then you got the Sami Zayn thing. Then you got the Sami Zayn thing, right? What's Sami going to do? Because I think Sami should be in the title picture as well. And Sami keeps getting knocked back. Eventually, the way this story is going, Sami's got to win the title. Because you can't keep getting knocked back by the people, by his bosses, by the boys in the back, by the company. The guy are holding him down. They just won't let him be champion. Yeah, he's not title material. He's not the man for this company. He's got to eventually win the title. That's how this story should end, right? Obviously, we all know where WrestleMania is going to be next year in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if they can keep this story going till then. That's probably too long. It's summer now. That's April. It's probably far too long to do that. But could I see WWE stretching it out that long? Yeah. Do I want them to stretch it out that long? No. But I could see it. I think also WWE are very aware that they probably feel like this is going to be the lowest viewed watched WrestleMania ever because, a lot of people are not happy with the fact that it's in Saudi Arabia. For me, a WrestleMania being internationally for the first time should have either been in the UK or France, in my opinion. They're the best crowds in Europe. Should have been UK. I mean, UK audience is their biggest audience apart from North America. But then the French crowd is amazing. That for me, they're the two countries that probably should have had an international WrestleMania before Saudi. But Saudi got the money, man. Look, the reason London and Wembley didn't get a WrestleMania is because the mayor of London does not want to pay for it. I don't think people realise with WrestleMania, it can go to any city in the country or any city in the world as long as they pay for it. If they're winning the stump up, that's why I went to Vegas 2 years in a row because Vegas were winning to outbid anyone for it, and they outbid Minnesota. It was meant to be in Minnesota. They outbid them, so it went to Vegas again. If the mayor of London actually, went, you know what, we're going to outbid everyone for WrestleMania, it'd be at Wembley Stadium, but they won't do it. The mayor of London, that's mad. And Reese, this is what I'm saying. I think WWE are very aware this is going to be a low viewed WrestleMania. And that's why I'm wondering if they do build this Sami Zayn thing to Saudi and crown him as a champion in Saudi and finish the story there. Yeah, TKO Vegas makes sense as well. But I do think, Reese, they outbid everyone that year as well, didn't they? And that's, paid the most money. Wrestler, and obviously WWE, people might not like WWE's business where it concerns AEW and their counter programming. I actually think sometimes it affects WWE more than WWE realise, because I've always said it, the AEW fans, and especially the hardcore fans, or the sickos as people like to call them, they're always going to buy an AEW pay-per-view. It doesn't matter if WrestleMania's on the same night as an AEW pay-per-view, they're still going to buy the AEW pay-per-view, right? So I don't think it matters so much. But the one thing I will say, right, and I think this is good business, right? Because it's in Saudi, and they don't want AEW on their turf. Because the best thing AEW could have done was go to New York and hold a massive wrestling conference in New York for the weekend of WrestleMania, right? So AEW hold like a super show, and then they get all the independents. They got that My AEW TV now, where they're showing all independent companies. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, GCW, if they got all them on the weekend and they all went to New York, which is WWE's home ground, let's face it, New York is WWE territory, and went there to start a big fuck you to WWE. You've gone to Saudi, so we're taking over New York. That's a big FU. I'm surprised Tony Khan didn't do it, but then I don't think Tony Khan's interested in competing. I've always said this. I think Tony Khan is just very interested in doing what Tony Khan wants to do and promote the company the way. I don't think he's interested in competing to that level, right? I think if it was WCW with Ted Turner and WWE did this, that is exactly what WCW would have done. They would have gone to New York. Ted would have gone, right, we're going to New York and holding a super show, a super wrestling conference for a weekend. So WWE decided to do it themselves. So they're doing the wrestling conference the weekend. So they've taken the MSG, the arena under MSG, the garden bit. They've taken that and they're going to do a WrestleMania watch party where everyone's in the arena watching Mania. And as soon as Mania's finished, they're doing a AAA show and then an NXT pay-per-view, I believe. And they're after Mania because Mania in America would be like 2 in the afternoon, won't it? Because it's in Saudi, 1 o'clock, even 12 o'clock. I mean, it's going to be early. So, and then they're going to do that after. So, I don't blame WWE for doing it. It's their, look, New York's it's their city, ain't it? You know, they don't want anyone coming over. They will probably thinking, if we don't do this, Tony's going to come to New York and hold a massive wrestling conference because it's the sensible and clever thing to do. But WWE got in there first, so yeah. Since Revolution is normally the end of February, start of March, they should have been double forward early and take MSG and bring in a few promotions for it. That's what I'm saying, Reese. I'm surprised they didn't do it, you know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if they could get Madison Square Garden because if I remember rightly, the only wrestling company apart from WWE that's ever wrestled in Madison Square Garden was that one New Japan Pro Wrestling show. And that's because I think Vince and the person who owns or runs the MSG had a falling out, didn't they? And because they had a falling out, he decided to do an FU and get New Japan Pro Wrestling in the MSG, weren't it? And that's the only wrestling company, I believe, that's been in MSG, which is crazy to think. It's crazy to think. I don't know if AEW will ever wrestle in MSG. That's right, Jay White and Okada. Yeah, it's because they had that falling out with Vince, if I remember rightly, and then they patched things up, didn't they? I just don't think. I think Reese, you might agree with me here. I don't think Tony is ruthlessly competing with WWE and like Ted Turner was with WCW. You know, I don't think he's interested in all that. I'd like to see more companies go MSG. It's a holy ground. Yeah, it is the holy ground. You know, thing is, I just don't know. I think WWE have it. It's like, do you know? It's like Man United taking over Anfield. It will never happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. If that makes sense. You know, these two, right? It would never ever happen. I think it's weird, ain't it? I can't imagine another wrestling company running MSG apart from WWE. Just one of them weird things. Where was it? Where was it that what is the arena that Jim Crockett always was in? And that was their like home ground, and no one else really went there. I can't remember the arena now. You might remember it, Reese. But in Jim Crockett Promotions, obviously it was in the South. Was it in the Carolinas? It might have been. Can't quite remember now. But there was an arena that Jim Crockett always was in. That was their arena. Like no one else. Was it Greenbow? Was it Green Bay? Or Greensboro? Was it Greensboro? Greensboro? I can't remember. can't remember. Yeah, Green Bay's Coliseum, that's it. And that was, yeah, so it was Green Bay. That was Jim Crockett's home turf, weren't it? No one else went there. It's a bit like MSG, ain't it, with WWE? It's that kind of situation. Yeah, early Starcades, that's it. Early Starcades. Yeah, so SmackDown was good, and also we had Fatal Influence that I absolutely love. I love Fatal Influence. I think they're a good trio. I think they look great. Great presentation. You know, all three of them complement each other really well. Fallon Henley is going to be a superstar, I think. But obviously, JC Jane won the United States Women's title, and it's the correct call. Look, JC Jane should have been in the women's ladder match at SummerSlam. I don't know why she weren't, but she won the United States title right here, and she deserved it. I like JC Jane. I think she's going to be. I think in the years to come, I think JC Jane might be WWE's main woman's talent in a few years' time. There's just something about her. Look, I'm not saying she's the greatest in-ring worker or anything like that, but you don't always have to be. She's a good worker. She knows how to have a match. She knows how to have a structure a match. She's a good worker. She doesn't have to be top, but a presentation, she can cut a promo. I don't think JC could ever be a babyface. She just hasn't got that babyface look to her. But as a heel, yeah, she's top draw. I love JC Jane. I love all of everything about Fatal Influence. Their theme music, their presentation, the way all three of them look. Yeah, she's not bad at all, Reese. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, she's great to look at. I mean, let's be fair here. We're red-blooded males here. Let's not pretend otherwise, yeah? Right? Let's be fair. The better they look, yeah. People might hate it, yeah? But look, my wife likes Randy Orton, yeah? Because of the way Randy Orton looks. If Randy Orton was ugly and had a beer gut, my wife wouldn't like him, right? But she loves Randy Orton. Girls back in the day used to love Shawn Michaels because of the way they looked. Everyone remembers the early 90s when Shawn came into the ring, women frying themselves at him, throwing roses and because of the way they looked. Us men are allowed to say it, guys. Pretty women are you're allowed to like them, It's not against the rules, yeah? And I think it does help. I'm not going to lie. Do you know what, Reese? I don't think she suits the group as much as the new one does. And I can't remember her name. It's gone out of my head because I'm shit with names. But I think the new girl she looks better in the group, if that makes sense. She maybe not as pretty as the, what I'm saying. But I think as a free, I think it looks better. They complement each other a little bit better, if that makes sense. Wasn't she a former footballer as well? Weren't she a former women's professional footballer as well? I believe the I can't remember her name now. But yeah, look, Fatal Influence have got all the gold. They got all the belts at the moment. JC, yeah, Patricia Kelly, that's it. Ain't she doing OF now, Reese? I swear on her Twitter she's doing OF. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I can understand why. We can all get it. We all understand it, man. But yeah, I like Patricia Kelly. She's a good act. But yeah, I think that this just suits the new trio. No, Reese, go on her Twitter, man. Go on her Twitter. I think she's got OF, man. No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a look. Gigi Dolan back in the day, isn't it? I might be wrong here. It's just some of the things she's putting out on Twitter. I'm like, Jesus, has she got a, you know, she, you know. Let me have a look. I might be completely wrong here. Let's have a look. Again, I might be wrong. Yeah, Gigi did have nice stars in wrestling. Okay, I might be wrong. I think I am wrong. Oh, no, I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. Here you go. Let me share it with you. Just about to get some new views, man. Hang on. Share this tab instead. There you go. There it is. Only F. Exclusive content. Told ya. Told ya. That's her link tree off her Twitter. I knew it. I saw it. Yeah, this is her, isn't it? Patricia Kelly. Whatnot shot. Facebook. OF exclusive content, merch, pro wrestling to YouTube channel, Cash App, TikTok. There you go. You know what I'm saying? There, there we are. Big up Patricia Kelly. Yeah, that's on her link tree in on her Twitter page. I knew I saw it. There you go. I knew I saw it. I knew I saw it. Look, she's a good-looking woman, man. She's got a nice ass. Do what you need to get paid. I ain't against it. Do you know what I mean? If you're getting paid, get paid. You hear me? If you're getting paid, get paid. That's all I'm saying. I don't care who you are. Fucking everyone's got their own rights to do whatever they want, man. But yeah. Yeah, so SmackDown was a good show, man. I really enjoyed SmackDown this week. The stories are making sense. The intrigue makes a little bit more sense to me. I think it's been better on Monday Night Raw the last 2 weeks. I don't think Raw's been that bad either. I just think I'm done with the bloodline stuff. I'm a bit worn out by it now. You know, just look. I will say, look, on Monday Night Raw, Solo Sikoa is funny as fuck. Pew pew. What is it? And what did he do? What did Solo do? What was his comeback? And that's my warning shot. Pew pew. I was cracking up. I almost pissed myself. It was hilarious. The man's legendary. You know what I mean? That Solo has got more charisma than any part of his family, apart from The Rock. He's got more charisma, man. Why have they been hiding? Why have they been hiding this Solo, man? Yeah, have you seen the cover for it? Pew Pew Redemption 2. It's hilarious. Solo's the only thing good in the bloodline right now. I love Roman. I'm a Roman guy. I like Roman. I like Roman storytelling. But Roman's Roman at the end of the day. I'm really liking Solo. Solo's hilarious. I'm intrigued to see what they do on Raw this week with bringing him to Roman. Does he become member of the bloodline again? I hope they do. I hope he don't. I think Solo's good, man. I think it's entertaining. When Jay went, and that's your warning shot, I went bang like that. Solo covered. I went like that. I was pissing myself. And he's like, "Is everyone okay? Anyone get shot?" No, it's hilarious, man. I cracked up. Pew 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 pew. Solo's the guy. He's the guy right now. Why have they hid this from so long? You know, oh man. But yeah, the bloodline stuff's wearing me out. It needs to end because I think Raw's been good. I'm not saying Raw's been shit. I think Raw's been all right the last couple of weeks. Again, they're still building story and intrigue in there. You know, the Chad Gable stuff I really enjoy in the Intercontinental scene at the moment. You know, the Roman world. I like the idea of the Lucha Libre tournament and the winner fights Roman in Mexico City on Monday Night Raw. I think it'd be the first Roman match in 4 years on television. So I'm intrigued by that. I think that's good. If it's Penta versus Roman, which it should be, then that could be a killer match and possibly a way to seeing if Penta's ready to make that jump to the main event. I think that's what it's all made for. I think you're going to get brother versus brother in the final. Yeah, you're going to get brother versus brother in the final. And I think Penta wins. Penta versus Roman in Mexico City on Monday Night Raw. It's going to be a great showpiece event. Just the optics of that match or Penta reverse. It better be Penta and Roman anyway. If it's not Penta and Roman, I don't know what we're fucking doing here. But it should be Penta and Roman, yeah. Yeah, Paris de Mal, yeah, good. What they're doing, what is that? What they're doing on AAA, what they did last night on AAA as well, with him Willie joined the group and all that. Yeah. I just AAA's on a Reese. Do you know who books AAA? Do you know who books AAA? Crazy. I love AAA. I watch AAA every week, man. Look, the one thing Dragon Lee. Yeah, Dragon Lee's not that good, man. Dragon Lee's not. Yeah, Triple H is not Triple H. Undertaker's booking AAA, ain't he? At the moment, it's crazy. Yeah, Penta versus Roman will be a bang. Penta versus Roman. Look, I think they want to do it as well to see if Penta's ready for the main event scene, because Penta's dropped the Intercontinental title, and what used to happen is that when they got Jeremy Borash and Taker doing so well together, you know, they're booking that territory really well at the moment. Jeremy Borash is obviously great mind for the business, and obviously Taker's a great mind for the business. You know, Taker's Taker. You put them two together, they're doing a bit of magic over there at the moment with AAA, and it's boosting AAA up. I know a lot of people are a bit worried about when WWE bought AAA, but at the moment, I don't think anyone can say anything bad against it. It's probably, you know, the hottest AAA's been in a while. Obviously, AAA was always hot in Mexico and all that, but it's getting more worldwide coverage now, which is always a good thing for companies. And I think the reason they're having a 2-night event for Triple Mania is because they want to put night one in Vegas for the TV executives, because I believe they're going to have TV executives at night one in Vegas at the M&GM Gardens, because they want AAA to get a good TV deal. Again, the TV deal they want to get AAA is to try and counteract any TV deal that AEW might future get. You know, I understand. Look, do I like that business? No, but do I understand that business? Yeah. So, yeah, that's what they're trying to do there. So, yeah, but Penta should be in that main event scene, because what we used to grow up on was whoever was the Intercontinental Champion was the workhorse champion for the company. You'd have Hogan and all that doing the main event stuff, but everyone was always intrigued in the Intercontinental title scene. The Bret Harts, the Rick Rudes, the Ultimate Warriors, the Macho Man Randy Savages, you know, they were the Intercontinental champions, and, you know, they'd get the Intercontinental title. They'd be the workhorses. They would wrestle all the best wrestlers in the company, apart from the actual champion. And then when it was ready for them to take that next step, they'd lose the title, and then they take the next step in their career, becoming WWE champion. That was always the goal. I'm hoping that's what they're going to do with Penta, because Penta's too good. Penta's, they did it with Gunther. Gunther was Intercontinental champion. As soon as he lost the Intercontinental Championship, he won the world title. He got elevated. He's now a main eventer. That's his thing. Gunther's a main eventer in WWE now. That should be the thing with Penta. Penta now needs to be a main eventer. If Penta should win this Lucha Libre tournament. Him and Roman in Mexico City is a brilliant visual. Even if people don't like Roman, everyone will have to admit it's a brilliant visual. Penta, Roman, Monday Night Raw, Mexico City. And if Penta has the match we all know he can have, and has a great chemistry and match with Roman Reigns, Penta's there as a main eventer. I don't want to see him dropping down. He's got to be right at the top of the chain now. He's got to be around that area. He's too good. And if they want him to be their new Rey Mysterio, I think Penta's the guy. I don't think anyone else is there. The entire scene in Mexico is good. Yeah, CMLL is killing it right now as well. They're consistently getting sold out crowds with their product, and Triple H are moving in the right direction. UK scenes fairly recovered as well. Yeah, everything's going well at the moment, man. Yeah, Penta's good. Not gonna lie, I always thought Penta was better than Mysterio at everything. Ooh. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. Look, Penta being better than Ray isn't a diss at Ray either, is it? Because we're talking about two world-class athletes. Do you know what I mean? So I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that, Reese, at all. Because as you're saying, you're not dissing Ray by saying that. You've got two world-class athletes. Like Ray in his time was, the guy. Look, Rey Mysterio, a lot of people say Rey's the greatest luchador of all time. Look, the greatest luchador of all time, I can't remember his name now. I think he's passed away. Reese, you'll probably know his name quicker than I will. He was the greatest luchador of all time. If you ask Rey Mysterio, he will say that's the guy who's the greatest luchador of all time. But in the modern generation, I suppose you could say it's Rey Mysterio. Yeah. I think Penta being better than Ray. Yeah, man, there's nothing wrong with that. As I say, Ray's world class, Penta's world class. Doesn't mean it's not a bad thing to say at all. But yeah, I want to see Penta in that main event action. That's what we're saying, Ravi. The last couple of weeks have really turned. Before SummerSlam, it was shit. That's why SummerSlam was shit, because there was nothing to invest in. Since SummerSlam, yeah, the product's been far better. Far better. Yeah, Psychosis and Hoover too. I like Psychosis. I prefer Psychosis to Hoover too. I always prefer I like Psychosis. Penta to win Money in the Bank. I got a feeling they're going to give Trick Williams the Money in the Bank. Yeah, super crazy. Super crazy was crazy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man was nuts. Cody don't excite anyone, Ravi. Big up, man. I think Trick Williams wins Money in the Bank. Oh, Eddie, yeah. Look, Eddie's not Eddie's one of the greatest wrestlers, full stop. Eddie Guerrero is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Not just luchador, one of the greatest wrestlers. Eddie was different. Eddie was in a different league for me. I loved Eddie Guerrero. I don't look at Eddie Guerrero as a luchador more. I look at Eddie Guerrero more as a pure professional wrestler more than a luchador, if that makes sense. Because Eddie could do everything. That guy can do absolutely everything. And yeah, I'm a big I'm a massive Eddie Guerrero fan. I just think he was the perfect professional wrestler. Yeah, Tiger Mask as well. How many people were Tiger Mask? Quite 2 or 3, weren't there? Yeah, yeah. Jericho was under the mask. Eddie was under the mask when he was Tiger Mask once, I believe. Mil Mascaras. Yeah, that's the one. Mil Mascaras. Do you remember when he was really fat and old and he was in the Rumble? Hilarious. Fourth Tiger Mask just retired. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love Tiger Mask. That was a good gimmick, the Tiger Mask gimmick. But Eddie was my guy. Eddie might have been the greatest professional wrestler, man. He was just. I never saw Eddie as a luchador, really. I saw him as a pure professional wrestler. Yeah, 97 Rumble. He was all old and fat in it, wasn't he? Let's talk about more of Monday Night Raw and talk one of the best things about Monday Night Raw going forward, and that's this Bron Breakker and Obafemi feud. So a lot of people wondered, especially me, what they would do with Oba after SummerSlam. And Oba coming out and saying, he's the young gun that's going to take the WWE to the next step, and he's going to be the guy, and everyone else is beneath him. Where originally, before Oba, it was meant to be Bron Breakker's spot. So Oba is now taking that spot from Bron Breakker, and that was meant to be his spot. And now you're getting these two colliding for that. I'm the guy to take this company forward. I'm this guy. The company's going to go on my back, and we're going to take it somewhere. So this feud is very intriguing. I do believe I read somewhere that it was meant to be Bron Breakker and Brock Lesnar after SummerSlam was going to be a feud, and they believed that they were going to do Bron Breakker and Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's something I have read. I think that's now out the window, because I think Brock, unless Saudi give Brock a ridiculous amount of money, I doubt you see Brock Lesnar wrestle again. Unless you give him ridiculous money, Brock doesn't need to come back. Brock's a great guy. I think what goes under the radar about Brock Lesnar is how much he does put people over, how much he puts people over, and how much he sells for people as well. I think there's too much disrespect on Lesnar's name sometimes. I think it's easy to disrespect him, don't get me wrong, but not like you do it to his face, because he'd kill you. But yeah, I think he puts people over. I think he sells for people. If you disrespect him, yeah. No, like, who would, do you know what I'm saying, Reese? Who the fuck would disrespect Lesnar? Do you know what I mean? I'd leave him well alone. Like, this is a man who legit could kill you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm all right, Brock. You do what you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Obafemi is going to get any higher and any better after beating Brock Lesnar. I see Reese there. I'm the other way to Reese. I prefer Oba to Bron. I'm not this big Bron fan. I'm not really. I don't know what it is about Bron. I don't get him enough. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with that, Reese, as well. I agree with that. But naturally giftedness in that ring, yeah, I think you got it spot on. Especially in like North American terms, I suppose, as well. Beating Roman's bigger than beating Brock. Yeah, I suppose that's about as high as he can go. Are they saving? Look, I think they're saving that match of Mania. I think I think Roman Reigns versus Obafemi probably will be your main event at WrestleMania. I don't see Roman losing the title, although I think he should. Because I don't actually think Roman Reigns needs a title. Roman is Roman now. Roman is a megastar. I don't think Roman Reigns needs a title. Roman could lose 8 matches in a row and it wouldn't do anything to the Roman character. He's Roman Reigns. Whatever he's done in his like, if you hate him or like him or no matter what, Roman Reigns' legacy is done. You know, he is who he is. He's done what he's done. You know, I don't think he needs a title. I think Roman could be as arrogant, as obnoxious, as whatever he wants to be in his character without even a title. Roman can still say he's the biggest, best around without being a champion. I don't think he needs the belt. I really don't. You know, I don't think, I don't know if you guys agree with me. I just don't think Roman needs a title to be Roman Reigns. You know, some people need that title. Do you know what I mean? Some people need a title to make them. Yeah. I don't think Roman now, and he's where he is in his career and his legacy he's had in the business, and the star that he is, I don't think he needs a title. I think Roman can main event pay-per-views without being a champion because of who he is. I would take the title off Roman. I really would. I think WWE have got to start moving to other guys in main event spots. You know, like a main event at WrestleMania. If you want to do this story properly, the main event of WrestleMania in Saudi should be Bron Breakker versus Obafemi for one of the titles, for the world title. You know, really really put it on. Roman, like, I don't think we need Roman as champ, man. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think he needs the title right now. I really don't. I just think you can have Roman do his thing and be the mega star that he is without the title. But look, there's also another. Before we get to more Roman stuff, obviously the Oba and Bron thing. Hopefully WWE can get this right. Keep this story building over. I think what they need to do first of all, they need to establish Bron Breakker as that guy again and get him out of the vision. Because Bron Breakker does not need this group, right? Bron Breakker needs to turn on all of the guys and beat the shit out of them all and become his own man, right? That's what he needs, yeah? Doesn't need this shit group. The group, let Logan Paul and Austin and all that have the group. It suits them, yeah? It suits them a lot, right? Bron doesn't need this fucking group, yeah? Let him beat the group to death. Let him beat the shit and leave them laying all for dead. They need to start rebuilding Bron Breakker because I think when he came onto the main roster, he started building him up as his next big thing, the next big one. He's going main event manias for years and all this sort of shit, right? And then he just dropped off. He dropped off saying bad. They need to rebuild him. So the way to rebuild him, I'd beat Oba. That's the way I think you got to rebuild Bron, first of all. He's got to go over Oba in their first match. And then he's beating the guy who retired Brock Lesnar. And that's building up Bron again without and I don't think it hurts Oba because Oba's already beaten Brock Lesnar twice in 3 matches. Oba's already there, right? Oba losing in the first match to Bron doesn't hurt Oba at all, but it benefits Bron Breakker. And then in their second match, you got more intrigue, and Bron's built up again. He's beaten the guy that retired Lesnar, and then you got more intrigue in their second match in the future. I think that's what you need to do. Bron taking Money in the Bank would be a shout. Be Up Bobby says, Jamie, how much was your all-in tickets? No, 31 quid. Weren't expensive at all. Was it expensive? Is it your first time watching it live? My first ever AEW live show will be all in Wembley, yeah. My ticket cost me £31. It was cheap, man. But AEW, like, their tickets are reasonably priced, don't they? Yeah, 31 quid I paid for my all-in ticket. Be my first ever AEW show. I've been to plenty of WWE shows. I was at the last SmackDown at the O2. So, yeah, I've been plenty of them. Bron wins the first match, but Oba wins the feud. Same with Formula as Punk and McIntyre. Yeah, I think that's what they'll do. Do you know, this is a good one. I wouldn't mind Bron taking Money back and just taking the title on the same night. Yeah, that's a shout, you know. That's a shout. And it's what I said earlier, Reese, about Roman not needing the belt because he's a superstar anyway. But we need to start building new main eventers. Oba versus Braun for the title at Mania is very intriguing to me. We'll be on to saying there. I was at both UK all-in events, cheap tickets, and both good atmospheres. Yeah, that like AEW. Well, AEW's ticket pricing is obviously nothing like WWE's. It's ridiculous. Like Conor here, tickets for the Raw and Dublin cost me 200 minimum. It's mad. It's mad. Like the SmackDown ticket cost me 60 quid, and I got that 3 nights before SmackDown because it weren't sold out. So I think the tickets dropped in prices. You know, WWE do that. If they did it with SummerSlam, didn't they? They needed to shift tickets, so tickets went right down. But yeah, I mean, WWE's pricing is just through the roof. I used to go to every Raw and every SmackDown when I was in the UK. Was it 4 times a year, 3 times a year? I used to go to every single show because it would cost me 40 quid, 40 or 50 quid, right? I tried to get tickets for Raw at the O2 on that Monday night before SmackDown, and the cheapest ticket was £120 for the cheapest ticket. It's like mad. And then because no one wants to watch SmackDown because SmackDown's shit usually, I've got a £60 ticket and I just I'll go for it. Why not? It's just fucking crazy. Do you think Reigns is the only big box office attraction in WWE, Jamie? The only legit superstar? Roman, Punk. I think Punk and Roman are legit the 2 biggest attractions and superstars. You could argue Punk's number 1 because of his fame and his name. You know, when Punk went to AEW, TV executives wanted him on a certain night and a certain channel because they were friends. That's how big Punk is. You'd argue Punk's not, you know, you'd argue it. Look, we ain't got your Austins and Rocks and all that anymore, but Roman, obviously, and then you got your Obers are probably next. You got, if you do Bron Breakker right, he could be up there as well. No, WWE got, this is the thing with WWE's roster here. They've got a lot of players there that can be the next Roman Reigns, like that megastar. You got the next. They got the next lot there that can. It's up to WWE to let them be. Phil, I like latest is called Punk Phil. Don't call Punk Phil to his face. He don't like it. You know how they call CM Punk by his government name. Remember, that's why Kevin Owens does it all the time. Why Kevin Owens keeps calling him Phil because he knows it pisses him off. Because you're not allowed to call him by your government name. He hates it. He hates it. Jamie, house show in Liverpool was £700, and that wasn't even floor level. It was like, that's crazy. Yeah, Mello could be up there as well. WWE got loads of great people, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Raw was a decent show. It was a watchable show, but it wasn't good as SmackDown. It just wasn't. The thing is, SmackDown, though, SmackDown's stacked. As I said earlier, Punk, Kevin Owens, Cody, Orton, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor. They've just got Gunther. You know, Drew McIntyre is officially a SmackDown guy. I don't know what's going on with Drew. I saw Reese earlier in the comments say maybe he's one of the 50% pay cut ones. Not sure. Don't know anything about it at the moment. But obviously he's doing a lot of things in Hollywood at the moment. He's making a Highlander movie. I think he's got another movie going as well. So we'll see if Drew wants to do any more. But he's still officially a SmackDown star. SmackDown's stacked. The thing is, Monday Night Raw is meant to be the A show because it's on Netflix. At this moment in time, it's not. It's SmackDown. SmackDown's the A show right now, especially the last couple of weeks. I don't know what they're going to do. I think eventually they will do some kind of talent swap. And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody and Orton found their way back on Raw and maybe like a you know, a Blake Monroe or a Julia or something like that. Just give them a bit more star power over there. I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, there's a lot of things that are intriguing me in WWE this week. As I said, few stories are intriguing me. The tournament, the fight Roman Reigns, the Lucha Libre tournament, that's intriguing me. I'm intrigued to see if it's Penta versus Roman in Mexico City. That's a good story going on right now. I like the Solo Sikoa stuff. It just makes me laugh. Might not be the greatest story or anything, but him personally, I'm entertained by. The Bron Breakker and Oba stuff is entertaining to me, and I'm intrigued by it. So they're building a few things there. The Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vaquer. Oh, Stephanie Vaquer. Do you know what I'd do? Stephanie Vaquer, man. People ask me. I got asked this last week, and I forgot to answer it. Why is Stephanie a bigger star in WWE than Julia? Have you seen Stephanie? There's a reason why Stephanie Vaquer at this moment in time is a bigger star in WWE than Julia. I'm just saying. Yeah, that ass. No, fine. Yeah, Stephanie's back. Obviously you got Becky Lynch is back, Liv Morgan's back. So you got a bit more star power in the women's division on Raw as well. I want the title off Liv. I like Liv. I big up Reese. I know Reese in the chat's not a big Liv fan. I like Liv. I think she's very she's good at what she does. But I'd like to see Stephanie and I'd like to see Stephanie and what I can't remember names today. Becky feud. I'd like to see that. Becky and Stephanie feud. Something fresh, something a little bit different, going for the women's title. I'd like to see that for many reasons. Many reasons. Devil's kiss and oh my god. Right. Yeah. So you got that going on Raw. SmackDown, you just got this Kevin Owens and Punk stuff, which is amazing television. You got Cody and Orton, which is cooking nicely. The Chelsea Green stuff, which is a super babyface women's champion right now. The potential of a Tiffany Stratton heel turn. Gunther, what's going on with him? And obviously Sami Zayn that well. You got so much going on in these companies at the moment. Obviously NXT, look, NXT sometimes winds me up because I look at NXT sometimes and think this should be a much better. It's so chaotic. NXT is the most chaotic wrestling show in any company of the week. It's just chaotic. It makes no sense to me sometimes. The women's roster there is excellent. Lola Vice needs to be called up. There's no point at Lola Vice being there anymore. She needs to be called up. Obviously, the main women's champion over there could arguably be the best women's wrestler in the world in a couple of years in any organization. I think she's superb. But yeah, Zilla Fatu obviously debuted. Zilla Fatu obviously debuted on NXT and the crowd went fucking mental. I haven't heard that NXT crowd go that mental for a debut ever. They went fucking mental. 2-0 Arsenal at half time. Zilla Fatu, the crowd just went fucking mad for him. I don't know, like, look, I watched Zilla Fatu a little bit, you know, at House of Glory and stuff like that. And yeah, you know, Amazing Reds Company. He's, you know, he's a good wrestler. Yeah, I think he's his dad's Umaga, if I remember rightly. And so that would make Jimmy and Jey Uso his cousins and Roman his uncle. Am I correct there? So he's obviously going to be part of the bloodline, but they're going to put him in NXT for a little bit just to get him working. You got Mike Santana over there as well. So you might have little things kicking off on NXT. I mostly watch NXT for the women's division, though. I think the women's division is fantastic in NXT. It's pretty much a women's show now. That's what I watch it for. The women's talent over in NXT is excellent. But yeah, Silver Fatu debuting. It was a good debut as well. The crowd went mental. So big up Silver Fatu. But yeah, this is my week in WWE, guys. Next week I'm going to do a bit more AEW as well, because we are leading towards All In, which I am going to. So again, I will put a bit more AEW in it next week. So next week's show will be This Week in Wrestling. So this was This Week in WWE. Next one's going to be This Week in Wrestling. Yeah, Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray's going to be the best women's wrestler in the world in 2 years' time, in any organisation. I think she's tremendous. She's like the female Kurt Angle. Yeah, so next week is going to be the Week in Wrestling. We'll talk AEW as well, which means I have to watch Collision. Ugh. You know how hard Collision is to watch. So yeah, I'll be bringing that to you next Sunday, guys. So next Sunday will be This Week in Wrestling. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for joining me for This Week in WWE. I appreciate it. We've had some strong viewers today as well. As I said, this channel is new. You know, we're trying to get it monetized. So subscribe and share if you've not done so already. And I'll be back next week. I'm going to try and do some other videos this week coming as well. I might do a mini Raw review on the Tuesday. It won't be a live video, it'll be a pre-recorded video that I'll put up on the channel for Tuesday, just like a 5-10 minute just quick little Raw review. And then I might do the same with NXT and SmackDown, little 5-10 minute just reviews. And then every Sunday we'll do a whole massive review at the end of the week. That's what I want to do going forward. I don't want to do too many lives, because I've got all my Liverpool stuff as well that I've got to do a lot of shows on. That's my main channel. I can't be on my computer 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? It's mad. So I'm hoping going forward, pre-records for Raw results and SmackDown and NXT results and AEW result and AEW Dynamite results on Wednesdays. So little videos of them, 5 or 10 minutes, pre-recorded. And then on the Sunday, we look back and review the whole week, you know, more in depth. That's what I'm going to try and bring you guys. So big up. Thank you very much for joining me. And yeah, I might be on with Coppish later for the 6 p.m. kickoff with Liverpool and Como. So I hope to see you all guys over there then. Much love. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye-bye for now.